right, so we are now at exactly 5 minutes after 6. We have 161 persons on. Hopefully we would have had more, but it's 6 p.m. and I'm sure there are many persons who are already tired, having had a full day. And we are recording, so we will share whatever we discuss with those parents who are not here. Would have loved to have everybody here. So we will start. We will get our meeting started, and as is customary, we want to start by invoking the presence of God, and therefore we are going to ask for a volunteer. The one who wants to volunteer to offer prayer can just raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Whether it's a teacher or parent, we'll be happy to have you.
All right, I'll pray, sir.
Okay, thanks, Mrs. Jamal.
Let us pray. Our gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we thank you again for bringing us on this platform wherein we're able to meet to discuss issues pertaining to school. We pray that you will send your Holy Spirit to stimulate the minds of our principal and all those who will be participating in this evening session. We pray, Father, that the various items that will be placed on the table, that they will be discussed properly, and all parents and students who may be listening in will be satisfied with what they have heard and will make it their point of duty to ensure that they do whatever is required of them. Continue to be with this institution, continue to be with all of us who have to participate in the various activities of this institution, so that at the end of it all, everything will be done well and in order. Continue to be with us, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Drummond. And for those who don't know, Mrs. Drummond is our senior biology teacher, as well as one of our grade 8 coordinators. All right, so for today's meeting, we hope that we'll be through before 7. So maybe we'll have a 45 minutes or so meeting. I'll simply just provide you with some updates and also give you the opportunity to ask any questions or raise any issue that you would want us to discuss, so that we can be clear as to where we are at this juncture in the school term. We have just completed the first half of the first term, and we are now going towards the second half of the Christmas term. I'm sure that most of you would know that the first term of the school year is usually the most critical, because whether you're a new student or a returning student, you start a new class, a new year. In most cases, you probably have new teachers and you start a new section of the syllabus, and therefore you try your very best to get the foundations right in preparation for the rest of the school year. Now, for you who are parents who are here, I'm expecting that we have our grade 7 to 9 parents, and I'm sure that you would recognize those who are in grade 9. They have only been in school physically for 6 months, and they are already in third form. And therefore we continue to see the challenges that these students are facing. We are trying our very best to keep everybody together and to keep us grounded, keep our students grounded while they are away from us. We know that it is a difficult challenge, very difficult for you as parents, very difficult for our children, and very difficult for us as a school, just trying to operate within the confines that we are placed in. We know that none of us as parents would have had the experience of having to spend so much time with our children while they should be in school. Most of us who would have grown children before would have been accustomed to having our teachers helping us and guiding us in our students' physical, social, and mental upbringing, and not just academically. So as a school, we understand the pressures that you are facing. We understand the challenges you have. We are also trying our very best to not just focus on the academic side of our students' development. We are trying, especially this year, we recognize that the need is even greater for us to try and reach our children, not just through their academic endeavors, but also through the other activities that we want them to be involved in. We have gone roughly 6 weeks already, and we are well, for the 60 that we have gone, we noticed that we probably have maybe only about 60% of our students attending their online classes in any meaningful way, which means that for out of every 10 children in a class, there are probably 4 students who are not attending classes regularly, right? So we, from our survey, what we have done, what we have picked up so far, we have more than 90% of our students who we know where they are, and we have been in touch with them. They have been in contact with us at some point in time or the other. But what we have not been able to do is to get everybody to be consistently attending their classes online. And we understand what the challenges are. We know that it is difficult for some parents and some students to afford internet for an entire day, 5 days a week. We know that even those who can afford, sometimes the internet is just not available, whether because the service is bad or you just don't have the connection or whatever the issues are. So we know that there are real serious challenges just getting everyone to do what they want to do, because I don't necessarily think that 40% of our children don't want to be learning, but there are challenges. But we continue to battle with them. Where we are now, I think the government would have already indicated that they want to resume some level of face-to-face school, but they would also have indicated that vaccination is important if we are to resume face-to-face activities. We also know that there are no Pfizer vaccines available for our students, and that is the one that is recommended for them. But nonetheless, we are hoping that school is allowed to reopen very, very soon. We got a correspondence from the ministry on Friday asking that we complete a checklist, a template that indicates how ready we are to resume face-to-face school, so that we can share that information with the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Health along with the Ministry of Education would then now determine whether or not we are in a position to resume some level of face-to-face classes. So we are completing that sheet, and we are hoping that we'll be able to complete it by tomorrow afternoon to submit to the ministry later this week, because as a school we are really, really eager to see face-to-face school resume. We have more than the 65% recommended of our teachers vaccinated. Most of our teachers have been fully vaccinated. There are a few who have gotten just one shot because they got a shot of the Pfizer and have not been able to get that second shot. And there are a few who are not vaccinated, but the greater majority of our staff is fully vaccinated. We now need to find out the status of our students. So starting tomorrow, we'll be doing a survey to determine how many students we have who are vaccinated, so that we can provide the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health with that information. We are hoping, we know that there are students who want to take the vaccine but did not get the chance because the vaccines ran out. We also know that there are students who took the first shot and have not been able to get that second shot, and therefore we want to collect all of that data. Once we have collected that relevant data, all the other data we already have recorded in terms of that checklist to send to the government. And we think that we are ready. We think that we are in a position to manage having students here, even if it is that we are not going to have every student here every day. We have already done, for example, timetables to rotate students and all of that. So we are hoping that within another week and a half, we will be able to have a clear idea of where we are going with face-to-face activities. Just to report as well, it may seem a far away for you and your children, but actually those students, we know that our students are preparing for CXC exams and CAPE. We got the results for our students last weekend. And of course, we are disappointed because we have a number of students who we think could have done much, much better. And of course, based on the circumstances, many of them were not able to do as well as they could have. And so we are really concerned about this group of students. We are concerned about the grade 11s who have not been in school since grade 9. At least the ones who graduated this year spent 6 months in grade 10 and were able to come in some days for face-to-face. But we are really, really concerned. And because of that, we believe that it's important that we get our children back to face-to-face school as soon as possible. on the exam results, it's the worst we have done in more than 10 years, right? We had an overall pass rate of 76%, which isn't too bad on the scheme of things, but it is, we have not been in the 70s for more than 10 years, right? 2 years ago, we were at 85%, 86.5% rather. So we have fallen off 10%. We have fallen off 10% in the last 2 years. And we know that we are not the worst off, right? So we know the challenges. We see students who we know would have done much, much better if they were able to, for example, to be at school to do their practicals, to do their SBS, spend time. For example, a subject like food and nutrition, right? Maybe every 5 years, one student fails that at states, right? Students don't fail food and nutrition at states. Yet we only had an 88% pass rate for food and nutrition, right? For PE and sport, I am not sure if we have ever had a student fail PE and sport at states. This year, 2 students failed it, right? Building technology, again, another strong subject. EDPM, another strong subject. These are all practical subjects that require students to practice and to have access to school facilities. These subjects, we did not get the results that we normally get because students have not been engaged physically. Well, I think because we have not been able to engage them as we would want to face to face. All right, so that's of real concern to us. Nonetheless, parents, we have to make do with the situation that we have. And right now, we as I said, we have gone 6 weeks. So we still have to function as if we are trying to teach. It's a teaching learning process. And so therefore we have to teach. We expect students to participate. We have to appraise them or assess them. So they will be doing, all students will be doing their 6 weeks appraisals starting tomorrow. Right, so I hope you would have seen the timetables and you would have encouraged your children to use the long weekend break to start review the work that they would have done over the last 6 weeks, because they will be required to do their testings over the next 5 days. Please remember that being absent doesn't mean that you won't be graded. All right, so the children need to ensure that they log on and do their online tests. The test will be done within specific time frames. So if it is maths to start at 9 o'clock, it will start at 9 and it will finish at 9:45, right? Or whatever time. Somebody can then try to go on at 12 o'clock to do the same test that everybody did 3 hours ago. So please make sure that the children get their timetables. They were posted in the parents group. They have been posted in the Google Classrooms. Please make sure they go online to do their tests. And as I said, if they fail to do the test, then we will give them the appropriate mark, right? So please ensure that they do their test over the next few days. We have had issues, not many, but a few issues with students indicating that they may not be having classes because teachers not at classes. In almost all the cases that we have investigated, the teachers have been at classes, they have been attending classes. Some students have got their invitations for classes and did not accept, or there were some errors with their invitation or with their devices. But for the most part, our teachers have been fully compliant with their attendance at classes. And we want to just ensure that our students understand the responsibilities that they have to ensure that they attend the classes as they are timetabled. So I know that there have been parents who have called and asked, they have been checking up, and when they check, they go home and they check, they find out that students have been lying. Right? It is as blunt as that. Some students have been lying about whether or not they have classes. Some have classes and the parents are not there and they just go back to bed. Right? So I want to encourage you to continue to speak with your children about the importance of not missing out on what has been happening. So for example, based on where we are now, if we are to resume face-to-face, there are some students who cannot go and sit in the same classes that they have been assigned, because there are students who are so far ahead of them. We are not going to put them in those classes to keep back those students who have been diligent and committed to their work and have gone ahead of them. And therefore, we will have to probably put them in a separate class just to start them from where they are. So please get them, if they have not been logging on, when they go on their Google Classroom, the information for the most part should still be there. So they would need now to do some work, some review on their own, ask for help, whether from elder brothers or sisters or from parents, or asking questions in the Google Classroom of their teachers so that they can get help with what they may not fully understand. Other update, just I think everybody is aware that we are celebrating our 60th anniversary. You can see that lovely logo behind me, indicating that that this is our 60th anniversary. So if you see the logo, that's our 60th anniversary logo. We had a lovely church service. Quite a few persons were in attendance online, but I know most parents did not attend. It would be nice if you just go to our YouTube channel and watch back the church service. It was a lovely service, and I want to commend all the students, teachers, past students, everybody that participated. We got really, really good feedback on it. And please remind everyone, when you use the channel, please subscribe to the channel so that YouTube knows that we are making good use of the channel. So don't just watch what is on it, but also subscribe to the channel so that when we post things on it, you get notification that we have posted information on it that may be useful to you. All right. In terms of update books, we have not yet gotten additional books from the ministry. We have spoken to the ministry and the Minister of Education about it. Not just states, but all the high schools. We met with the minister. We spoke about the shortage of books. They are saying that they had a problem with the order, and they did not get all the books that they had ordered, and they are trying to source additional books for us. All right. For new students, grade 7 students who would have paid for personal items, as I had indicated, when you return to face-to-face activities, you will be able to collect those personal items. All right. Any of the grade coordinators have anything else to add before we open the floor for parents to ask questions or make comments?
Yes, sir.
Right, yes, Miss.
For the grade 8 and I think the grade 7 too, the guidance department, they'll be putting on the substance abuse seminar on Tuesdays at 8:05 to 8:30. So I just want to inform the parents to encourage their children to log on every Tuesday morning, 8:05 to 8:30 for a substance abuse seminar by guidance.
All right, and that will be in their Google classrooms, right?
Yes, sir. So Miss
Yes.
Ben Foster.
All right, Mrs. Ben Foster, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Drummond, for that point.
And Mrs. Ben Foster is
Also-
one of our guidance counselors, parents who don't know.
Right, thank you, sir. So the guidance department also is hosting a career workshop on the 28th of October for all grade 9 students. All grade 9 students must attend this workshop. It is vital for students to participate as it aids in the overall development of the student and also for their subject selection coming up. So we are asking for the support of the parents to ensure that your child attends this session. Each student on the day of the career workshop must have a career package to guide them in the session. And this package is available at the main office for purchase at a cost of $650. And also $650, yes, sir, for each package. And also for the grade 7 students, the book Plan Your Success is also available for purchase at the main office for $650. So thank you, parents, and we are looking forward for your continued support. Have a blessed afternoon.
All right, and just a reminder as well, for the grade 9, let me just say, I know Mrs. Freckleton is the grade 9 coordinator. Well, let me just say for the grade 9, parents, remember, I mentioned it earlier today, that your grade 9 child would not have been in school since March of grade 7, right? Grade 9 is the most challenging part of their high school life. They are doing 18 or 19 subjects, and at the end of grade 9, they have to make a career choice, right? So those 18 or 19 subjects will be narrowed down to 8 subjects, right? And of those 8, maths and English will be compulsory. right? So they all have to do maths and English. And then they also will only choose between information technology and EDPM. So really and truly, they have 5 subjects that they must choose, including a practical subject, which is a practical subject, which should be one that will help them in their career of choice. Now, we normally spend all of grade 9 trying to help students to understand themselves, understand who they are, what are the things they like, which field they are likely to do well in, not just because they do well in a particular subject academically, but also because of their personality, because of the things that they like. So for example, somebody like me who doesn't like to be cloaked up in an office and sit down one place, right? A career where you have to be indoors all the time may not be good for me, right? So all of these things we are not face to face. So these online activities, you have to ensure that your grade 9 child is participating in these activities, or else it's not going to just affect him in grade 9. When he gets to grade 10 and realize that he's not doing the subjects that he really want, it is going to be a problem. And if he ends up having to go through to grade 11 with these subjects, probably don't do well passing them, I have to start over. So please make sure that our grade 9 students are as engaged as possible. All right, Mrs. Freckleton?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir. I joined late, sir. My apologies. I'm not sure if you remember the parents that the SWAT will be online and the
Yes.
students are to go to their subject classes. So it's not like a different Google Classroom will be set up for the SWAT. They need to join the class that they would have with the teacher for the SWAT on that day. So for example, IT, I will teach 9A and 9B IT. So 9A should go to my IT Google Classroom and 9B goes to 9B. So just to remind them about that, sir. Also, there are some students who are having issues. Some will be doing, I know a student will be doing surgery. So that parents need to let us know if the child will not be able to do the SWAT on the days that are specified. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mrs. Freckleton. So important, the SWAT, that's a 6 weeks assessment test. For each subject, you just go to your Google Classroom for that subject to find the test there, and it must be done within the time that it is timetabled for. All right. Before I get to Dondre, any other grade coordinator, form teacher has anything else to add? Any of the grade 7 coordinators are here? All right, no. Remember, we have devotions and form time tomorrow morning, so your form teachers will also update you on the procedures for exams. All right, done, Miss. Oh, where did Sophronia take down her hand? Don't want to speak anymore. All right. So any other grade coordinator? All right. So you can go ahead, Sophronia. You can unmute.
Good evening, parents. Good evening, Mr. Wellington.
Evening.
Regard to the package for the 9th graders, I'm in Montego Bay. Can it be, if I have somebody pay for it, can it be emailed to me?
It's not in soft copy, right, Mrs. Where's the child? Where's the child?
I have him with me down here. I have to be on his box. I have him down here.
I don't think we have it in soft copy. Let me just find out. Mrs. Ben Foster, we don't have it in soft copy.
No, sir, we don't have it in soft copy, only hard copy available.
Montego Bay. Can you
I'll
ask someone?
I'll probably have to just jump on a bus in the morning and pick it up.
All right, okay, good. All right. Any other questions or issues you want addressed as parents? I'm happy to see that we don't have many questions, which means that we had a fairly good term so far. Keisha, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
My question to you, sir, is there a timetable set for 7D on a regular school day? Not for the SWAT exam, but on a regular day-to-day school.
Yes, all the classes, every class has their own timetable, which has been shared. It was shared in the parents group, right, Mrs. Freckleton? And it has been shared in their Google Classrooms and their forums. So remember, every child is a part of a form class. So they have the form class with the 40 or 45 of them in one class where they meet their form teachers every morning. That's the other thing, right? So many of them have not been attending their form time in the mornings at 8:05. You have to remind them that every morning at 8:05, they need to go in their form room where their form teacher is. They need to mark their name as being at school. And if there are any issues that they are having, that is the time they have to raise it with the form teacher. But yes, each form class have their own timetable that has been shared with parents, and it has been shared in their Google Classrooms with each child. All right? All right, Keisha?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, is it possible for me to get another view at that timetable, because somehow it has missed me, and one of the parents who having issues with the child not attending classes regular.
All right, are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll just ask the coordinator to post it back in the group, and also ask your child to go in the material section of their form class, and it should be there. All right. The child. All right, Keisha. All right, Michelle.
Good evening, Mr. Wellington.
Good evening.
And teachers and parents. Parent of 7A student. So far, so good. I must congratulate the teachers and congratulate the STEDS team. What I've observed on a day-to-day basis is that they're doing an excellent job. Layson is fully engaged. She is participating well. I couldn't have asked for more. She is somewhat used to the home setting, being homeschooled previously, but I tell you, I am so pleased. She's a transfer student, and I think I've made an excellent choice. And as I said, I must congratulate you and your team, Mr. Wellington, and the teachers of 7A that have been engaged with the kids so far. You know, the only concern, you know, as an educator myself, is just that by observation, I do realize that some of the children are not engaged. You know, based on the amount of children that are registered for the class, you still have a few that have not been engaged on a day-to-day basis. But you know, the teachers are doing their best. I've witnessed where teachers stop in the middle of the class to trying to contact parents to see what is happening to particular children. You know, and I'm really pleased. I'm really, really pleased. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Robinson. Right, and as I said, my teachers know that I'm a miserable principal, and they will quarrel, but I really have to commend them as well. I think they are stretched. I'm very sympathetic towards them with the amount of work that they have to be doing and how difficult it is just finding the students. And then when you consider that you have a class of 45 and only 20 students turn up, and you know that the other 25 that have not turned up, you are still responsible for them. And so when they turn up, you're going to have to find a way to help them. It is a challenge. So really, I have to commend the teachers and those parents who have remained committed and have tried their very best, because we know that it is challenging. Right now, I can tell you, as principals, many of us as high school principals, we have gotten to the point where it's almost as if we are at the point where we're going to just drop our hand and say, listen, if the students can't come back to school, this don't make any sense, right? Because it has been that challenging. So we have to really commend those students and parents and teachers who have stuck with it over the last, 18 months or so, and have really, really done their best to make it work. But it is a challenge. So thank you, Mrs. Robinson. Nadine.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just a suggestion there, sir, for that parent in Montego Bay. In Knutsford Express, they do packages. You could be sent from Santa Cruz and she'll pick it up in Montego Bay. It's a much effective way than to board a transport to come
The
personally.
cost, true, that's true.
Yes.
Sophronia, if you ask somebody to just get it and leave it at Gutters, I think Gutters and Black River are the stops in St. Elizabeth. We could just send it by Knutsford Express. You could call me in the morning if you want me to help make the arrangements for you. All right. Thanks, Mrs. Grant Brown. Kim. Oh, sorry. Kim?
Good night, Mr. Wellington.
Good evening, good evening.
This is Kim, grandmother, Patricia Robinson. I bought some book from the 7th grade B, and I have 2 of them. They have his name there in them, but they are clean, not using. Can I get somebody from the 7B to buy them from me?
Oh, your child is in grade 8 now?
Yes.
All right, so just talk to Mrs. Alexander. You can just come to the school or send a message to Mrs. Alex, give her the name of the books, and she will try and get them resold.
They are brand new, you know, sir.
Yeah, man. So talk to me. We can't do the
Just
business.
the name. She did mark her name in the back of the book and the front of the book, but from that it is brand new, and I take it back to the bookstore, and the lady said, to her name written in it, she would not take it back.
All right, so
I want them to sell back the price that I paid for it. I understand.
All right, speak with Mrs. Alexander, who is the grade 7 coordinator. We can't do those business online now. But we want to tell us what the names of the books are?
Sir, good afternoon, sir. It's Integrated Science for Jamaica. Edition 4, I think. And my father's son Johnson, sir.
All right, good. So you know Mrs. Alexander, right, Kim?
Yes, sir.
All right, so just send a message to her and she'll make the arrangement. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Vestra.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Mr. Wellington, I have not received not even one of the book from the government for my daughter.
Which grade?
So,
which grade?
7E.
7th grade, okay. All right, so did she come when they were issuing books or she hasn't come to collect?
Yes, sir, she did. She did, but when she went there, they said it was finished.
Yeah. I made mention of that already, that we really have a shortage of books because the government, they normally, all right, so these books come from the government, right? And
yes,
normally
sir.
we get books during the summer. We have not gotten any at all. We had a meeting with the ministry, including the minister and the PermSec, and they said that they have a problem, but they are trying to get the additional books. So in addition to that, some of our grade 8 students have not yet returned their books, and therefore we would be short on what we issued last year. So hopefully, again, by the time we get back to face-to-face, we may be able to issue some of those. All right, if we get additional books, all right?
Okay, sir, no problem. Okay, thanks much.
Thank you. And we are please remind the teacher, let him remind the teacher that is it a he or a she?
Her, she's a girl.
Let her remind the teacher that she hasn't gotten any books. So if they are posting work from the book,
yes, sir.
The teacher may have to copy it and post it. All right?
No problem, sir. Thanks much.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Amoy?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just want to find out how I can be added to the parents group.
Or to the parents group. All right, just send me your number. Send your number to the form teacher. Just ask the child to give the form teacher your number and we'll add it. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Kamala?
Oh, good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I just want to extend my commendations to Princess Walters, 7B form teacher. She's very, very vibesy and very interested in our students.
Yes. We have picked up that too. One of the things that well, your child is new, but we have a honors board where we recognize students for outstanding performances. And this year, what I've added is that we're going to recognize our teachers, one teacher from each department that has done really, really well online. So in another few weeks, we'll know who those teachers are. But Ms. Walters is one of those that we recognize have really latched on to the online activities and has been very diverse and engaging with her students. So I agree with you, Kamala. She's a home ec teacher, right? All right. Anybody else? We're doing well. Only 40 minutes. We could spend another 5. Any other questions, queries? Is there anything in the chat? Let me look if there's any. Oh, nobody has raised any questions in the chat. Right. All right, so the important thing for us now, couple of important things. One, the students coming to Sabrina. The students are reminded that their 6 weeks assessment starts tomorrow, reminding you that we are trying to see whether or not we'll be able to resume face-to-face in a few weeks. We are doing a self-assessment that needs to go to the Ministry of Health. Part of the information we need to provide is the vaccination status of our student body, and we will therefore be posting a Google form for them to answer questions from the Google Classroom come tomorrow. All right, so we see a number of hands coming up now. So let me just go back to those hands. Sabrina.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Wellington. This is Sabrina's mother.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I want to comment on Miss Marie, 8E form teacher, Sabrina's form teacher. Yes.
Okay.
She's very, very, very busy, and she always try to let our students understand everything. You know, she's very understandable, and she makes sure our students very understand everything clear.
Good. And let me comment Sabrina too. Sabrina did very well last year.
Yes, sir.
So please remind her that she needs to work even harder. Right? But she did very well. I've seen the reports and I see where she's ranked. So
yes, sir.
Comment her, right?
Thank you very much, sir. I try my best and try to work with her as always.
All right, good.
Yes, sir.
Trusan Henriquez. You're still muted, Trusan. You need to unmute.
Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mr. Wellington, good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to commend Miss Burton, 7C teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate her effort towards her student, my son Javari Spencer. He's in her class, and for the first week that school started, Javari didn't fully understand. I'm not a person that you know fully whatever we own, yeah. And Javari wasn't being registered. He went and did his work, and Miss Burton took the time out. She called me and she said, Miss Henriquez, I haven't seen Javari register in the morning or evening. I said, but he attend. She said, yes, whatever. She go that far by giving me her personal number, where she said, any problem, just call me, WhatsApp me. You can give Javari my number too. And so far, Javari is doing well. He understands everything. Thanks to her again. I really appreciate good teachers like that.
You're welcome. And I don't know if she's on, but we'll make sure that she's aware of it. All right. And thanks for the interest you're showing as well. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bright the child is and how good the teacher is. If we do not get the children to show the interest, then we're not getting anywhere, right?
So, all right. That's true, so true.
All right, thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Joaquim, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good night. This is Joaquim's mom. I was just wondering when camp begin, if there will be any this year.
All right, so, and Joaquim is a track and field student. So you're asking about track and field camp. We are trying, the biggest issue we have right now is that the cost of feeding these kids when we have them on, right? And as you know, because no school is in session, we're not having any activities that we are able to raise funds for example, the tuck shop, where we'd make a little money. Nothing is happening there because there's nobody here. But we will get them on, hopefully, in another few weeks. Certainly as soon as school reopens, we will get them on. If school doesn't reopen, then we'll still try and get on at least some of them within a few weeks. All right, but when we do, we're asking parents to help us by providing support to food items, whether it's going to be yam or banana or vegetables. Tomatoes, $500 a pound now. All right, so when you have 80 kids to feed, it's millions of dollars. All right, so please, we ask for your support when the time comes. All right. Nicola, you can unmute and go ahead. Somebody's asking.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Nicola. Just 1 second. Somebody, Stashna, is asking if there's a specific timetable for SWAT. Yes, and that has been posted again in the Google Classrooms, in the parent WhatsApp group. The timetables have been posted. Every child, your child should not tell you that they don't know which which test they have tomorrow. All right, so just ask them to tell you which test they have each day. Go ahead, Nicola.
So this is not Nicola, this is Denium, sir. Nicola's son.
Nicola's mom.
Yes, sir. Sir, I like to say Miss Burton is for 7C is an exceptional grade coordinator, sir. She go out of the way just to make sure we understand what are we supposed to do, sir. Not only when we are in class, even in foreign time, sir. She also makes everything fun, sir.
Happy to hear. You know, I'm happy when I hear that my teachers are doing well. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, Mary, Mary, just tell me which class your son is, the name of your son, and which class he is in. I just type his name and the class that he is in. All right. Tessan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wellington.
Good afternoon.
This is Tessan's mother.
Okay,
I would like to commend Miss Burton as well, sir. She's a really nice teacher and she's very prompt. She always on time. From last season until now, she's always in her classes, and I always in the class with Tessan when she's there. So I'm telling her to keep up the.
Too.
Yes, sir. Keep up the good work, sir.
All right,
and it's Nashiva's mother also, sir.
Nashiva Palmer.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Nashiva Palmer.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Nashiva is a past student, one of my past students who is a doctor. She's still at Mandeville Hospital?
No, sir. She's at UE now, sir.
UE. Okay, good. Tell her hi for me.
Yes. Yes, sir. All right, then.
All right, so that's Tessan. Shamoy. Shamoy.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to add my little accommodation to 7D form teacher, Miss Whiteley.
Yes.
I mean, she encourages students in the morning so much. Some of the time I have to stop and listen because what she's saying, it really makes my day. At the end of the day, when I listen, it helped me along the way to know that, I mean, she talks so much about God, and without God, we're nothing. So when she does that, it makes my day as well as my daughter's day. So I just want to commend her for her work that she's doing. Very good.
Thank you very much. Some parents, you must tell the teachers to hear. So when you get the chance, if you're happy, as a matter of fact, if you don't think they're doing a good job, I invite you to point out to them what they are not doing well. And when they are doing well, I'm also inviting you to share with them that they are doing well, because a lot of us as teachers, that is what makes us feel good. Sometimes when we collect the pay at the end of the month, we don't feel so pretty, right? So when we know that our customers, our parents are satisfied, makes life a little easier, right? Paulette. We have about 5 minutes. I want to finish by 5 minutes to 7. So we have about 5 minutes more. Go ahead, Paulette.
Yes, I will say good night to everybody. Good night, Mr. Wellington.
Right.
I want to give my little much too I want to say thanks to the 7G form teacher, Mrs. Brand. She did well. I enjoyed devotion in the morning as well. I'm always in class with Rocher.
Okay.
She said I'm miserable, but I don't really mind.
No, that is a good quality to have as a parent.
Yes, she said I'm miserable, but I don't really mind. Miserable for the right thing, that's good by me. So I just want to big up the form teacher, and she's doing a good job. And every other teacher that teaches my granddaughter, Rocher.
Thank you very much, Pauline.
All right, thanks.
Miss Hayden.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. I would like to commend Miss Allen, who is grade 8, 7D's form teacher. With all that's going on with her, she makes sure that the children are interactive with her every morning when she does devotion, and she gives them a little incentive and, you know, keeps them going and keeping them motivated. So I appreciate her because, you know, she's going through a lot right now.
Yes.
So I would like to commend her because she turns up all the time. And if you have a problem, she makes sure that she tries to assist you as well. So I'd like to commend her.
All right, good, right. And I'm happy you, well, I'm not sure, well, it's good that you mentioned it because sometimes we don't understand that some of the same issues and problems that we have as parents, our teachers have similar issues and problems going through. And Miss Allen is not, well, she's having a real challenge with her father now. And I'm sure that you've been aware of it, you will continue to pray for her like all of us, right, and her family. All right. And parents, there are some serious things. Let me, for example, I don't know if many of you know that Mrs. Holness, or our vice principal, her husband has been in the hospital since May. All right. So, you know, we have our own challenges, but we continue to do our best because we recognize that our children's future are at stake. And by extension, not just their future alone, but our entire country's future is at stake. And even our future as adults. These are the children, these are the persons who are going to be our doctors and our nurses, our bank tellers, our policemen in another 15 years or so. So if we don't get them on the right path, we are also going to suffer. So as teachers, we are committed to try to make this work. And all we want is our parents to be just as supportive, and we know that we can get things done. So we really appreciate how much you have done this, especially because I know that once you are here on this platform, it means that you are amongst the committed ones, right? Because we have 940 students between grade 7 and 9. We only have 248 parents here. So that already speaks volume as to your own commitment, right? But we continue to do what we can, and we encourage those around us to do their part as well, all right? Let me just go back to the chat before we wrap up. There were a few comments and questions. Read the art club. I think Mr. Lewis did say they're going to do the art club. So we will add it to the co-curricular club. Visual arts, let me comment the visual arts too. They got 100% pass at CXC for visual arts. So we will add that club as well. All right, one more hand and then we wrap up. Clinton, you can unmute and go ahead. Clinton?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah,
I just want to say, you know, I really appreciate the effort of the teachers, especially the grade 9 and grade 8, because both my daughter and my son who made the adjustment to be here in Jamaica, and they're really doing well. Very interactive. I try to sit in the classes a few times to see how it was, and they have adjusted way better than I thought they would have. And I really want to appreciate all of that, especially with the help of getting them into some classes that they weren't able to log into about for the first week. But once I made contact, everybody jumped on board and got it done. I just want to appreciate you guys and that.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Happy to know that they have adjusted well. Still looking forward to having face-to-face too. All right.
They are looking forward to that.
All right, great. Stacy, is that the hand clap or you want to say something as well? Students want to join the track team, just ask your form teacher to give you Mr. James's number, and you can join the track team. All right, or I can. Stacy, you want to say something?
Good night, everyone. Good afternoon. Good night, sir. I just want to say I want to big up Miss Allen. She have been encouraging us, and she's the best farm teacher I ever have. So I'm just thanking her for encouraging us all in 8D class.
Right, okay. I know you're not Stacy though. All right. Tyreek.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, I was asking if under 14 football was going to be it is playing this year. If it's playing this year.
We will play under 14 in March, April. Because I want the kids to get back to school first.
Okay, sir.
Minuet.
Mr. Watson, I just wanted to tell you that Miss Burton is the best social study teacher in the world and the best form teacher. And Miss Rose, my Spanish teacher, her classes are so vibesy, sir.
Great. All right. Make use of the opportunity, Minuet. All right. All right, colleagues, it's 4 minutes to 7. Don't want this to go on any longer. I suspect that we're going to have a meeting maybe next week, based on what I think is likely to happen with face-to-face school. So we will have that meeting next week, and remember to keep in touch. Remember, you can always send a message via Google Classroom to all your teachers. So all the teachers, they have a Google Classroom, and there's a messaging feature that you can actually send a message to them that they will get. All right, so if there are any issues, please remember that that is one way of messaging your teachers. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening, and remember to ensure that your children log on for their test. Let them show you their timetable so you know what time they should be doing their test, and make sure that they log on to do the test. All right. Reports, those who were last year, if you had issues with reports, we have corrected them. We have corrected all the lower school reports. And so if there are changes, we will let you get your new copies. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.